The Jordan River was behind them, a miracle of God's power. Before them lay the promised land, but it was not empty. The formidable city of Jericho stood as the first great obstacle, its walls reaching towards the heavens, a symbol of the challenge that awaited the children of Israel. Upon the shoulders of one man, Joshua, rested the weight of a nation and the fulfillment of a divine promise. As the sun bled across the horizon, casting long shadows from the camp, Joshua felt the immense pressure of the coming conflict. He was a warrior, a leader, but this was a war unlike any he had ever known. Seeking solitude and clarity, he walked out onto the plains near Jericho, the city's silhouette a constant, imposing presence against the fading light. He needed to see the city for himself, to understand the fortress he was commanded to conquer. As he stood there, his mind racing with strategy and prayer, he lifted his eyes and saw he was no longer alone. A man stood before him, poised and silent. What was startling was not just his sudden appearance, but the object in his hand. A sharp, gleaming sword, drawn and ready for battle. Any thought of solitude vanished, replaced by the instinct of a soldier. This was an unknown, a potential threat on the very eve of their first engagement. Joshua, showing no fear, strode towards the figure. His voice was firm, a commander's voice, demanding to know where this warrior's allegiance lay. "Are you for us?" Joshua challenged, "or for our adversaries?" The man's reply was not what Joshua expected. It was a voice that seemed to carry the authority of ages, cutting through the tension of the moment. "Neither," the figure stated, his presence growing more immense, more powerful with each word. "But as commander of the army of the Lord, I have now come." The world seemed to stop. This was no mere soldier. This was not a friend or a foe in the earthly sense. Joshua stood in the presence of a heavenly authority, a direct emissary from God himself. The revelation struck him with the force of a physical blow. The weight on his shoulders was not his to carry alone. The defiance on his face melted into profound, soul-shaking awe. In an instant, Joshua fell on his face to the earth, the dust of the plains coating his skin. He was no longer a general planning a siege. He was a servant before his master. "What does my Lord say to his servant?" he asked. His voice now filled with humble reverence. The commander of the Lord's army looked upon the prostrate leader of Israel. The command that followed was not a battle strategy, not a plan for taking Jericho's walls. It was a call to recognize the sacredness of the moment. "Take off your sandals from your feet," the commander said, his voice resonating with holiness. "For the place where you are standing is holy." These were words that echoed a similar moment years before, when Moses stood before a burning bush and was called to lead his people. For Joshua, this was his own commissioning. It was a profound reminder that the ground he was about to fight for was consecrated, a land promised and protected by God. With trembling hands, Joshua did as he was told, the rough leather of his sandals giving way to the sacred soil beneath. The battle for Jericho had not yet begun, but the victory was already assured. It would not be won by the might of Israel's army, but by the power of its divine commander. Joshua, now fully surrendered, understood. The fight was the Lord's.